Funky Melanin Maiden. I'm here with my sisters, my road dogs, my Central Pay, and Monte Carlo homies. The list just keeps on growing. First in we have Shoshana Dawn.
Oh, the whole name. Gotcha.
Next in we have the no longer B, but the Chola B.
How people gonna think you calling me a bitch?
Exactly.
Chola B. Chola B. Next in we have EVE.
Hey, y'all.
And last but not least, we have the DJ K105. Keisha Keish. How y'all doing tonight, ladies?
We good.
Let's
Hanging
get
in
highly
there.
favored.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. We have not gathered in the name of God in a minute, the five of us. And there's been some things going on. Unfortunately, there's been some things that haven't been so hot.
Like with the passing of Traci Braxton over the weekend, which was a surprise to most of us. No one knew because their family kept it a secret. However, I do remember seeing pictures over the summer from posting of her son's wedding, and I noticed that she didn't look like her regular self. She had lost a lot of weight. And I did say, oh, wow, she looks as if she has cancer. And then we did find out by the information, by hearing of her passing, that she did have esophageal cancer. And she battled for over a year and unfortunately lost her battle with cancer. I'll just like to pray for the Braxton family because that family has had, unfortunately, a number of tragedies happen over the past few years. The passing of Trina's ex-husband from cancer, the passing of their niece from an overdose of drugs, Tamar's attempted suicide. And now with the passing of their sister, it just, we've been having so much loss. Honestly, over the past couple weeks, I can count the number of funerals I've attended from January till up until last week. And it's just, it really makes you take a moment to stop and examine your own life.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get little aches and pains and we take them for granted. We don't, pay attention to the signs our bodies is giving to us, especially now with the pandemic. So many of us, we're not going to the doctors the way we should have. We're stuck in the house and we're just not doing as much and taking care of ourselves the way we should. But we do know that we need to, take time for ourselves, make sure we make our doctor's appointments, eat right, exercise, do all the things we need to do because life truly isn't promised to any of us.
I know that.
You're absolutely right.
There's so many mutations and so many different variations of cancer, and esophageal cancer is not one that you hear of on the regular. And I don't even know how one would get that, how one would.
Well, so let me chime in with that. A lot of us have acid reflux and don't pay attention to it. And what happens is after a while, your esophagus gives up. So anybody that's dealing with acid reflux, please go to your doctor. If you have acid reflux, a lot of times, I remember I used to lay in the bed after eating pizza, and I was laying in the bed all night suffering with acid reflux. And it was just out of laziness. I have the Tums right on the dresser, and I'm just one of those people, if I don't like something, I'll rather suffer than take it. Mm-hmm. When you have a stuffy nose, you have the Afrin sitting there, and you don't want to take the nasal spray because it just annoys you. But going back to what I'm saying, if you have acid reflux on a regular, first of all, you should be taking some kind of Tums or whatever. and you need to go to the doctor, because if it's chronic, then you need to find out what is causing the chronic acid reflux, because after a while the lining of your esophagus gets tired, and then things like
it wears out.
Yeah.
But one of the most important things about dealing with acid reflux is the foods that you know causes the reflux. You're supposed to stay away from those foods. Pineapples, strawberries, most berries causes reflux. Orange juice, reflux. Drinking too much water, reflux. Red sauces, reflux. Those things, you should stay away from those foods.
Yep.
Because
anything fried, reflux. Like
everything.
Air, reflux.
Right, that's what everything.
No, not
air. No, air, reflux. And I've been literally trying to get an endoscopy since I got COVID in 2021. And I just got clearance from my cardiovascular doctor 2 weeks ago to get the endoscopy. And I go to my gastro doctor on the 22nd to go and get scheduled for the endoscopy. And like, I've been dealing with the reflux and the Gerd for years, but I did not think that you can get esophageal cancer from reflux.
Have you ever seen a doctor for your reflux?
I go to ENT every 3 months.
And they've never told you what reflux can do to your esophagus, how it wears out the lining?
My ENT doctor gave me a nasal spray.
Well, and I'm going to tell you why. Because reflux is also associated with your sinus. And that's why you have to stay away from those foods, because it triggers the acid and it also triggers your sinuses. I know that for a fact from the ENT doctor.
So it's not to cut you off, but it was really, you can even actually, it was crazy where literally today, this is one of the reasons why my schedule got backed up too. Came home, I was cleaning the bathroom and I bent down to pick up something and the acid went from my stomach to my nose. I haven't had that in years. It literally burned my nose and my throat, and I felt like I was on fire. And I'm coughing, and my husband was like, "You all right? What's going on?" And it just felt really. And then after that, I just started sneezing. I must have sneezed like 50 times just from the acid hitting my nose.
Wow.
And that was like about an hour or two ago.
Well, and that's why I'm saying your diet, honestly, and that's why I say we really have to pay attention to our diet and our health, because your diet is a contributing factor.
Yes.
But to your point
of things.
But to your point, Cho, I think everybody that I know almost has reflux because of the pesticides, because of all of the things that they use
but we like to eat
food.
But we also like to eat. The things we like to eat aren't the best of things. And especially for us, we have a tendency of how we season our food as well.
Yes.
That's not good for you.
We know we love our spices.
We take every spice in the cabinet.
And that causes the reflux.
Put it on our food.
And that causes the reflux. So you have to really be mindful. Like, I can give you guys the list of foods to stay away from.
No, I have a list.
You'll be upset.
A list of foods that I'm supposed to stay away from. But
and fruits. You know, people always say you gotta eat your fruits and veggies. You gotta not all fruits and veggies are the best for your acid and for your sinuses. So little things like that. Again, we have to pay attention to when our body give us these signals, because reflux is your body giving you a signal.
Yes.
Clearly. I don't know if that was the reason behind Traci's issue, but I'm just so shocked that she's gone at 50 years old.
50 is too young.
The Braxtons had their show. I watched maybe the first couple seasons, and then for whatever reason my schedule got hectic where I never got to follow up with the show. But in the very beginning, when you really saw everyone's finances, because in the beginning of doing a reality show, everybody's finances, you could tell from their house that they live in. Like Love and Hip Hop, you see how when the beginners start out, then by 5th season, they living in a mansion because they done got the paper. So I remember the first 2 seasons.
Like Nene.
Yeah, exactly. So when I first saw Traci, she was like the underdog of the group.
Yeah.
And I admired her because I always root for the underdog. You had Tamar, who she was married to the I forgot his name, that producer.
Vincent D. Herbert.
Yeah, so you saw one part where they were all shopping and she was able to buy these expensive sunglasses, and I'm pretty sure Traci couldn't afford that. And one of the things that stick out in my mind is that one time Traci did a signing, like she was signing autographs somewhere for something, and it was at a swap meet. It was at a flea market. And now somebody like Tony Braxton and Tamar wouldn't have been caught in no daggone flea market signing autographs, but that was the level Tamar was at, Traci was at. And I just, like I said, I always rooted for the underdog. So she kind of reminded me a little bit of Marsha and the Brady Bunch, a little bit, because
you took it way back.
Yeah, because she was that one that it was just like, So anywho, but rest in peace.
I think it's bad.
I wouldn't say an underdog. I would just say she just lived a modest life.
Yeah.
She chose, she chose marriage and motherhood instead of going on the road singing with her sisters.
Well, you know what? From what I remember, what I remember from watching the show, sometimes she felt left out.
Yeah, she did. She
Left out
did
in the
feel
beginning.
like she was.
That's that whole question of did I make the right decision with choosing family or choosing a career?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, clearly she chose the right decision by choosing her family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
she
God,
had a
God
very,
bless us
very,
all.
very long marriage and a son that truly loved her, and she had a grandbaby and a daughter-in-law. So blessings and prayers go out because God knows that's a close family. And Mama Evelyn.
Parents don't want to bury their children.
Yeah.
So they feel like the natural order.
And Papa Braxton, so rest in peace, Traci.
Yeah.
And prayers to the Braxton family. Relatives of Emmit Till joined supporters last Friday in asking authorities to reverse their decision to close an investigation of the Black teenager's 1955 lynching and instead prosecute Carolyn Bryant Dunham, the white woman. I repeat, the white woman at the center of the case. We demand that the state of Mississippi hold Carolyn Bryant Dunham accountable for her role in the kidnapping and lynching of Emmit Louis Till. Emmett's cousin, Deborah Watts, said in a recent press conference, "It's important for you to know that Emmett's murder remains unsolved and that the last living accomplice in the murder case is Carolyn Bryant. And yes, she is alive. She denies that she recanted her story, that Emmett made sexual advances towards her, and her family stands by the lie that she told in 1955. She lied and Emmett died." Till was kidnapped and murdered in Mississippi after witnesses said he whistled at a white woman in a store. His death sent shockwaves throughout the country and galvanized the civil rights movement. So, just wanted to put that little caveat in there.
She's not going to change her story now. She is not going to change her story because that is history. It's sad to say that she will leave this earth on
that lie.
That lie.
Keep the lie alive.
Ain't no way they changing that story now.
But if the state of Mississippi has the elected officials that are willing to reopen the case and prosecute,
Mississippi.
Listen, stranger things have happened.
Okay.
So if they're willing to reopen the case, I say reopen.
Me too. I honestly say that. Reopen the case.
She should be dragged for the filth that she is.
I don't care. I want her to, it's not sad to say, but I want her to suffer. Like, I want this prolonged where you feel all of this. I don't care. So.
You heard what Eveline said to, was it the lion? When she said, now suffer! when he strung him by the tail?
Mm-hmm.
Or when it roller? Well, yeah, it was the lion, right? Now suffer! Yep. You need to suffer.
Facts.
Eveline style.
I can't.
What's up next?
Oh, so Kanye.
Oh, this is exhausting.
We gotta go to Kanye. Sorry, y'all.
Dear Ye.
We gotta talk about Ye.
Dear Ye.
As we all know, ever since he split from Kim, he's been on these online social media rants. And finally, someone called him on it. So,
who?
D.L. Hughley, who he basically said he is stalking Kim and he does not think it's funny. And he said if that was his daughter, he would do something about it. Well, of course, Kanye didn't like that. And he decided to say some things to DL. But it's hard to say stuff to a comedian.
A king of comedy.
You know,
drag you.
They always gotta come.
You would have your grandchildren laughing at you.
Exactly. So DL came back with ain't no way in hell I'm ever be scared of a dude who wears I know what you did last summer boots.
But I want to know what you did last summer boots look like. I'm trying to remember what
I remember.
The man in the movie wore those wellies. He wore fisherman boots.
Yeah.
He's comparing them to the Ye's boots.
Like my hunter boots.
He said Ye's boots look like
I want to say this. I want to say this before y'all say something. Because when I was looking at Kanye, and I was looking at stuff of him, because we did a show on him before. I'm scared for him. And I'm scared that we may lose him at a young age because
go ahead.
Because of the fact that he is not getting the help and he is not in a place where he's even willing to receive the help because he is so isolated and in a place where where you feel like you're so big that you just don't need nobody. You good. And cause I got it.
I don't even know if that's where he's at though. I don't even think that's the place where he's at. I don't
That's what it seems like.
No, I don't think that's the place because Kanye is well aware of his problems. He's well aware of his mental issues. Mm-hmm. He talks about it.
Right.
So I think it's more so. Sean and I spoke about this earlier. The fact that him and Kim are divorced now is bad because we need a family member now to step in. Mm-hmm. Because Kanye needs to be in the hospital. It's not funny. It's not a joke. You know, people take Kanye and they're like, oh, you know, people are annoyed and they're
You're like,
tired
it's
of
just
him.
Kanye.
You know,
it's just
and
gay.
he's an asshole. And
Right.
no, he's not an asshole. Kanye West is
No.
a mentally ill person who clearly needs to be in treatment right now. And there is no one that can put a 5150 hold on him to have him hospitalized. Kanye needs to be in the hospital at this point. Because who's making sure that Kanye's taking his meds?
Right.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Because everything that he says right now can be used against him in a court of law.
Exactly.
Yep. Because it's
He's
out
making,
there.
he's digging a hole for himself. He's digging it. He's scooping every
Because
spot.
but
he
that's why-
he made that post about, this is the last thing I saw on my daughter's backpack. These are the last stickers I saw on my daughter's backpack. And then
And Kim
it's like, nigga, you saw her this morning.
and said,
You
stop,
picked him up. Right.
because you picked them up.
To go to school.
Yeah.
You bought a house. You because didn't he have to make it known that he was the one that filed for divorce?
Yes, he did. He sure did.
But then you buy the house across the street.
I'll say it again, and I said it to you guys the last time we spoke. This isn't new. Kanye has been dealing with bipolar, like most people with bipolar, since he was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
His mother was the only one who can control him and soothe him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not prepare her son to live in this world without him.
Not her.
And everything we see with Kanye, and you know, people are gonna be like, it's an excuse. No, it's not an excuse. Kanye is mentally ill. He needs help.
You know.
He needs
The
help.
thing
And
about
it's
it
good-
is because
and-
he keeps on saying that Candace Owens, is that her name? Candace Owens?
Mm-hmm.
Am I?
Yeah.
That's her name.
Yeah.
That she's the only one that that talks to him or whatever. Like Kanye, I'm gonna put this out there. The sisters are willing to actually embrace you as their brother.
Mm-hmm.
Drop Candace, cause she ain't. All she gonna do is lead you down the path to hell. Let me tell you something. You talking all that? Listen, we embrace you with love. We got brothers, okay? Drop Candace. Listen, this is real. This is real blackness. Come on, come on. We will embrace you into the bosom of blackness, and we will give you the real to real and get you.
I need
help.
Kanye to get real help before we
It's
start.
too late. Before we start RIPs.
Before we start
Right.
posting RIP Kanye.
Kanye West.
Exactly.
That's what I said.
Exactly.
Come on.
Oh,
And
what?
how old is he?
We
How old is
think
Kanye?
He not 50 yet.
Is
He
he younger than me?
40 something. What is it
He's 44
Going
years old.
Okay.
to take though to get him to see that he needs help?
And that's just it. We don't so because we don't know all of
Right,
the ins and outs of what's going on, and we're not around him, we don't know. But from what we're seeing and the behavior that's on display, you know, and we've seen this over and over again with people, you know, having these types of fits.
But we've seen this behavior before. We've seen this type of behavior before.
From entertainment people or in real life?
No, in real life.
Of
We've
course
seen
we have.
people exhibit this type of behavior before. That's why I said, Kanye, just come on. Just come on.
I just hope that someone can intervene. I don't know who.
Right.
And you know, and it goes back
who is
to
that person?
something. You know, because we know Kanye does Sunday service, and that's a big part of his life. And people don't like to hear it, but you need medical help for mental illness.
And
Praying it away does not take it away. It
And
does
for the
not.
fact that like he has this Sunday service, but in the if you saw in the comments or what he said back to Pete, he was like, God does not like you, blah 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 and stuff. So it's just like, if you're trying to practice and preach one thing, why aren't you practicing it?
And that's why that's why I don't believe, I don't think it's only bipolar that Kanye is dealing with. I think there's other factors in there.
He
Psychosis, there's bits of psychosis, and there has to be.
He clearly has issues, right? And his now ex-wife has moved on with Pete Davidson, and they have a trailer for their new reality show that is going to be coming out.
I thought the show was going off the air.
They have a new
but they got it
show.
It's on Hulu now. I think.
Hulu.
This family is not.
So it wasn't going on, so they didn't give
No, now it's
they ended their
more, and they was just like, you don't go against the family,
right?
And kind of like mafia style. And Kim says in the clip, the trailer, how she was just like, he's told her, you know, this is going to end your career. And I'm just like, this is your child's father. And you've moved on with this dude publicly. And
that's a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now, you know, y'all are taunting, like you're texting, taunting from the bed while you're laying in bed with Kim. And you know that this dude is not mentally stable. And you're trying to reason with a person that's not mentally stable from the bed you're laying in with his children's mother, ex-wife, wife, whatever you want to call it. And like, it's not going to end well.
But is that because he felt the video that Kanye did of him chopping off Pete's head?
Look, they just need to
clap back.
They clearly need to go. They clearly need to handle this by going the legal route with orders of protections and all that.
But she's not going to. She says she's not going to do a restraining order or nothing like that. And they're coming out, you know, public, and you know, in the trailer, Kim is texting, and Kris Jenner goes, "Who are you texting?" And Kim is smiling, and then Kris goes, does his name rhyme with feet?
I mean, that gets into a whole nother situation, because if you, I don't know when her and Kanye broke up, but do you really need to be publicly dating?
But I mean, like, it's a full show. It's a full show.
Yeah.
Like, forget what you saw on E. Like, this is like Kardashians 2.0.
I might watch it. I might just watch it just for Pete.
I'm going to see, and that's the problem. See how we become the problem.
I just happen to.
We do not need to support it.
It needs to go on. I just saw it on.
I'm gonna take a peek. I'm gonna take a peek.
I just saw the clip on the Shade Room, and I was just like, let me see.
I'm a peek in.
Never watched. I'm sorry.
I was like,
I'm not.
Oh my
he got
God.
another show.
I just don't want this to end in a fatality.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Just 1 second. Somebody take my glasses off my face.
Take the glasses
panic attack, bro.
I got you. You need some air?
I mean, I gotta be honest with you, man. I just can't believe this, man. Is that my family's baby nurse? Did y'all have her detained right now?
Who?
The baby nurse, the Filipino woman that was in the back seat. Did y'all have her detained right now?
Yes, she's being detained. All right.
This just in from the desk of the Melanin Movement. Apparently, body cam footage straight from the sergeant at the Bank of America from Ryan Coogler's arrest. Just in. Apparently, Sergeant Hernandez was trying to explain to Mr. Coogler why he was being detained in the back of a police vehicle. Mr. Coogler was in the back of the van with one leg on the ground, the other leg perched gently behind the door. And he just kept asking for a minute. He said, I just need a minute because I'm trying to not have a panic attack. And I'm trying to make sure that my emotions keep intact before I burn this entire city down. Because that's what he was thinking in his head.
Oh, because he didn't say that.
I was gonna say, I was like, well, what?
I had to go back and
He asked us to take the mask off so that he does,
I
because of
know.
his anxiety, right? He asked us to take the mask down because of his anxiety. But I don't know where you got that burning
No, he
down.
said he said he wasn't going to take the mask down because he got a 5-month-old at home.
He sure did.
You know, the fact that as a black man, as black people, you don't even have the luxury to have real emotion in a situation where you have every right to want to burn down the entire city of Atlanta. Like, you have his baby nurse, his manager, and his driver in the car detained. You have him detained. You still have him in cuffs after you find out who he is. While you explain to him, you keep trying to explain to him why you have him in cuffs and why you pulled your guns out and arrested him in the first place. After he gave his card, his own personal identifying PIN, and his driver's license. 3 identifiers. So you had all 3 of those things. And then even after that, my man was just like, no, I'm not reaching into nothing to get a pen. I'm not getting nothing. I am not reaching anywhere to give you any reason to try to pull nothing out, to try to say I did anything for you to try to pull out anything to try to take my life.
Yeah.
He still has that presence of mind, even in that. That's why I was like, this man, and he never once was like, yo, nigga, do you know that I'm Wakanda? He never once pulled
Well,
up.
clearly they didn't know, because even the officer said Coogler, and he said no, it's Coogler, COO. And I don't care about it being Ryan Coogler. That's not my issue. My issue is what happened. That's my issue. I don't, because him being Ryan Coogler means nothing to me. It's just
It escalates it because it shines light on it.
And I don't want to victim blame, but there was another way that this whole situation could have been handled. The bank did screw up, but maybe he didn't know that he should have, because he clearly had 12,000 and he gave the account that he wanted the 12,000 to come from. Clearly has other accounts in the bank. Wouldn't he be a premier account holder? Those transactions, I don't do with the teller. And maybe he didn't know, because when the officer said to him, well, did you speak to them before? And he's like, well, maybe that's something I'm gonna have to do going forward. Yes, because you don't want people to know how much money
that you trying to take out.
You need to do separate transactions, not with the teller. That is available to you.
So so obviously maybe time was of the essence with him too. So maybe that's why he was just like, all right, I'm gonna just write it down and I'm gonna just ask you, just be discreet. You know, just go over there.
And clearly, when they was in the back and other people kept coming about saying, you know, they're taking care of you, I would have been like, no, I need to see the manager now because I've been waiting. Because if he was in a rush and that was the purpose of going to the teller, then you still dragged out my time. Now I need to see a manager. See, we need to understand that as a customer, we have rights. And he didn't exercise his rights as a customer. He didn't.
Oh, you're absolutely right. The fact that he was sitting there with the backwards curtsy feet, he had the backwards curtsy feet at the booth. That does not show that you are robbing.
But who's going to rob a bank saying, "Here's my ID"?
Exactly.
I'm going to give you my ID as I rob you.
You know, again, it's just unfortunate that
it brought out a level of anger in me because of the fact that the teller and the manager failed on so many levels because of the fact that there were so many identifiers that were given as a customer. So as the bank, you had a job to do. And you literally let your baby make the decision, and your baby don't work there.
I mean, for me, I really want to know, A, has she ever been a victim of a bank robbery? B, has that bank been a known target for robberies? You know, because there's so many sides to stories, and we know this. I would really like to hear what her side was
but you know what on. a lot of scams and stuff like check fraud and stuff like that goes on in ATL. However, when
it goes
you have
on here,
and a lot of times scams and frauds, a lot of times it be people that look like us. But in the case of him, when you have all of the factors in that, when signed off on, you did everything the right way.
Right. That's why I'm just trying.
You're absolving yourself from any wrongdoing.
And that's why I want to hear, where was your head? Why did you perceive this transaction as a threat? Because you and I both know. You and I both know the minute I swipe my card, the teller could tell me how much money I got in my account.
Yep.
And put in my pin that only I'm supposed to know.
Miss So-and-so, will you be pulling this money out of, oh no, I'm doing it from my checking account that ends in 50. Because all of my accounts are going to show up.
Yep.
And they can clearly see what is what in what account.
When and then I give you my license.
When the bank is calling you, telling you, oh, we can do, due to the fact that you have X amount of money in your account, would you like to take out a line of credit? No, I do not. Because they see what's in your account.
Yes.
You got to call.
But then they said
one of the banks asking me about what I want to do with one of my accounts. Like, I want you to stop going through my account. That's what I want you to do right now. Stop looking at my money.
They got the notification thing flagged on the screen. So
of course, because you're doing over 10,000. Right, but again, what was the outlier that made you say this is a threat? Because you knew the minute he asked you for 12,000, it was going to flag because you was taking out more than 10,000.
And did she not see?
Maybe she was new.
Is she
balance the balance in his account?
This is my thing. She saw his account. So
I'm
what
sure
happened?
He has some money in there.
But like I said, if he was a lighter hue,
now that we prayed for Kanye, And we send prayers for the Braxton family. We definitely pray for Kanye. We got to pray for this chick because she is not going to be allowed at any family functions.
Oh
No
no.
barbecues.
She didn't tell nobody.
I don't think she's going
She
to
ain't got to tell nobody.
nobody.
When they hear the 911 call,
And she's on the
everybody is
Bodycam
going
footage.
to know.
She is?
She's on
They're going to be like,
the Bodycam footage.
Damn.
Lisa, that's you? Lisa, that's you?
Somebody gonna write her out.
I really want to say, because
you could have cost this man his life.
And that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. And that was
foolishness.
That's where I'm with this entire situation, because the good thing is he did speak calmly to the officers. He was a little irate, but he still knew how to speak to them. And his
what if he was one of our husbands?
Wait a minute. Him knowing how to speak, he knew how to de-escalate the situation because he's already been trained on how to speak to police.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and he explained, and he did ask some of the right questions. I need to know who did the 911 call. That information, you have to give it to me.
I need all of you. You're not giving me all the information.
I need
like, because you just put your last name.
I need you to write down your names. He said, I didn't put your first names down. I would have said, I need your name and your badge number and the incident. So
unfortunately,
your name and the incident report number.
Unfortunately, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I would bet money that if they didn't, so by the time they found out he was Ryan Coogler.
But let's take that out, because I'm gonna be honest with you, Keisha. Who is Ryan Coogler?
Okay, but everybody? I've seen many videos where Black men have actually said have asked those same questions, and they have been so disrespected from the cops because they're calm and they're asking the same exact questions, and they are so disrespected.
And this is true. But the cops did work with him, and we can honestly say that I'm glad.
But I'm wondering if he wasn't Ryan Coogler, because.
But they didn't know. But Keisha, they didn't know that, and they didn't, because even
they did. By the time they started talking to him, they did, because he said
because when
they saw his badge, his ID had
ID.
Listen, go watch the video again.
I watched the video 7 times.
When he first gave the cop his ID.
I watched the video 7 times.
He's like, "Oh, your name is Coogler." He said, "No, it's Coogler."
Yeah, but by the time that they started doing all of the conversation, they knew exactly
who he was.
But because when they saw the badge on his badge from his hip that had all the information of the filming, then they knew that he was working on film. But again, did they still? But here's my question: did they still know who Ryan Coogler was?
What do you mean?
We're assuming that everybody know who Ryan Coogler is, and everyone doesn't know who Ryan Coogler is.
He said he was here making a movie.
Right, but again,
but she's saying that they don't know
the level of
that
fame that he has.
That's what she's saying.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of people don't know who Ryan Coogler is.
I bet they know now.
They know now. They know that Michael B. Jordan, if they did, because a lot of people didn't see Fruitvale Station. They know Michael B. Jordan was in Creed.
Yeah.
Because they know Michael B. Jordan. They know Chadwick, God rest his soul, was in Black Panther because they know Chadwick, but they don't know who the director was. If you and I had this conversation earlier with Shauna, you get 10 people in the room. 9 of those people may not know who the director of that movie was. Because to some of us, Ryan Coogler is there, but he is an up and coming director still. He still is an up and coming director.
My question is
Kanye, he still is an up and coming director.
He's not up and coming.
So by the time they took off the handcuffs, you're saying that you still think they didn't know who he was?
I still don't think that they know exactly who he was. I don't think they understand who it was. I don't.
That black dude that was standing directly in front of him knew exactly who he was.
It might have registered for him.
That black dude, because his whole demeanor changed.
But all of the officers did not know.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
And when Sean and I was talking earlier, and I use the example because again, my argument isn't that it was Ryan Coogler. My argument is that it happened to a black man. That's my argument. Because
my argument is that it happened to a black man from a black teller who did not do her due diligence.
Because it could have went left and he could have lost his life.
And you know how we, because sometimes we get so mystical and we be, I had a feeling, girl. No, your feelings be off. Your feelings be off. And then you be going on your feelings and your feelings be telling you the wrong thing. Ooh, because something wasn't right with, no, something ain't right with you.
And I would bet that if he was white, she wouldn't have done that.
That wouldn't happen.
Nope.
Ooh,
I don't know. I don't know. We don't know.
Nobody robs a bank for $12,000.
I just want to know what made her think. What made her think that this was a robbery? And if she wasn't cool with him writing the note on the paper and he asked her if she was cool, she should have let him know.
I'm not cool.
I can't handle this transaction and call someone else.
Call your manager.
She did call the manager.
And the manager just as dense as she was.
No, I'm saying because she said to him that she was cool. When he asked her if she was cool with handling the transaction, she said yes. Clearly she wasn't. So if she knew she wasn't, she should have called her manager from the minute he gave her the note to tell the manager to handle that.
Because she also said in her 911 call that she didn't even look at his license. She just saw it was from California. She didn't even look at it.
So she didn't do her job.
So she didn't do her job.
She didn't even check to see if the license
matched the account.
Oh, for HR, if somebody is changing their name in HR, I gotta see their ID, gotta see everything for a name change. So how much for $12,000?
Me all the way off.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure did not expect to become famous from this.
Like this baby, if she don't name that baby Ryan, this baby is going to be named.
To go for,
let me tell you something.
A girl or a boy. Like you can do Ryan for a girl.
You better not go see Wakanda too.
Listen, as soon as this baby turned, baby, because as soon as, I felt something.
That was a damn
girl, you ain't feel nothing. You just had orange juice. You was drinking orange juice before the man came in there, and all of a sudden now.
It's crazy because,
thank God that the officers weren't.
Weren't those type of officers.
Yes.
Thank God. I mean, Officer Hernandez did say those triggering words, because I think to any of us, when they said calm down, we all would have been like,
calm down.
At my head! We all would have all been ready to.
No, not with a gun in your face. He's like, Master, you want more biscuit?
No, the gun wasn't cocked out then. All their guns was away then.
Yeah, they didn't have their guns out on him at that time.
I just can't. You got my baby.
It's unfortunate because as far as the cops was concerned, they were responding to a call.
Yes.
Of a bank robbery.
They kept on trying to.
But they were trying to explain to him, we got the call, and that's why that happened.
Right.
Yes,
which I'm gonna be honest with you. I respected the fact that the cops did try to give him the explanation as to why they came with guns out.
Because
They were-
they
Yes.
were told because
Because
of
they
what
Right,
they were told.
because of what they
Right.
were told. So they were.
But
they
according
were,
to what she told the 911 dispatch, she didn't say that she thought that he was robbing the place. She just said that it was like like she did not come out and say, I think he's robbing. You know what I'm saying?
something in that dispatch got translated to
To
threat
a robbery.
in the bank. Right. That dispatch call got threat in the bank.
Because if you go back and look at when they came up behind him, the dude that was the white dude that was standing next to Ryan on the left-hand side actually looked like a robber. I was like, that dude look unsavory.
He the one.
Because I'm scoping the place. I'm trying to see who the unsavory people look.
Listen, we all know that bank robbers come in all hues.
I know, but Ryan is literally there on his phone, unassuming, and just waiting for my money.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you.
So why did you come with your guns out?
For me, my thing would have been like, okay, why are they taking so long?
Because they told him that.
Right. And I would have been like, no, I need to see a manager. This is taking too long. I need to see a manager. Because I'm that customer. I need to see the manager.
The manager said that maybe somebody should go talk to him, but wait, he may have a gun. So if he has a gun, maybe we should just call the police.
But he gave his ID. So I'm going to rob you.
After I gave you my identification.
But if I have a gun,
so come catch me
what?
after.
Georgia is
a carry state.
Yep. But
so you can carry.
Know how that goes, because
Again, I really need to hear.
Orlando Castile.
I need to hear her story as to why she thought this was a threat. That's my main thing. Thank goodness the outcome was the outcome.
But
I hope Ryan writes something into Wakanda Forever, the script. I hope he writes something like a bank transaction.
Listen, he already Listen. He already wrote a part of that movie. He already wrote a part of that story when he wrote about Oscar's story.
Oh yeah.
When he wrote about Oscar Grant's story, he already wrote about that story.
Yep.
So the story has already been put on film by him.
Sad that it's been told.
The story's already been put on film by him.
Listen, Ryan, you my brother, yo. My brother.
I can't.
You know what I'm saying? I guess Bank of America.
So what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna pull your money out of Bank of America? I don't bank with them, so.
No, he said he pulled his money out.
I don't bank with Bank of America.
I'm telling you that she got to say farewell.
Well, she utilizes her premier customer advantages, so.
Auf Wiedersehen.
But honestly and truthfully, I mean, for your security purposes, don't go to the teller for those types of transactions. Yeah. You pulling out.
I'm sure he just didn't want to, be Hasidity and be.
That's not being sedity.
I'm just saying, he probably it's not necessary. Just go to the teller.
For your protection and your safety,
I hear what you're saying, but he's probably like, no, it's not necessary. Just go to the teller. Just ask her, just count it off to the side. So sure, just count it off to the side. Don't run it through the counter, please.
How's your day going? You all right?
Don't be like that.
But
don't be going like this in front of everybody.
But one thing that the teller also, that we also did not mention, the reason why he also wrote it is that, remember, Ryan also has a speech impediment.
Well, I mean, he he's been doing this and he didn't figure it was going to be an issue, and now he knows.
Not the first time he's done it, but I bet you it's the last time for that one.
I bet you anytime he going to Bank of America now, it'd be like Beauty and the Beast. Be our guest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be like,
Be our guest. Be our guest.
coming with tea and biscuits.
A glass of wine. Please sit down, sir.
And he did, but he did say that, and
they handled it.
They handled it to his satisfaction. So, maybe.
But we found out about it too. We found about it too late, Ryan. We found about it. So we
like I said, he should have did like Juicy Smoulier, have the noose around his neck, and go and march to social media. Let me tell you what happened.
To get over it. Listen, you don't do that. You don't do that to one of ours. No.
I think that the only way for
we need to hear from this teller.
Oh,
down.
Gail. Oprah Winfrey's best friend Gail should do a sit down with her.
Donna speaking.
I'm sorry, baby.
No, I was saying the only way for this to
Robert,
go away is if they find out if
disciplinary action
has been fired or
and the manager.
Well, something happened because something happened.
Said,
it was handled.
And the teller that was sitting next to.
It was handled to his satisfaction. So something happened.
Somebody
because he was satisfied with the outcome.
I would be like, you about to lose your job. You about to lose your job.
Get this dance.
But wait, imagine her co-workers, the other tellers, when they find out they probably was like, ooh, muscle. Oh, she about to get it now.
Ooh, but me and Shauna was talking earlier. People probably be driving by,
like driving by
the bank, throwing eggs. Like first time. I'm gonna be Gail. Gail gonna be like, now Robert.
My name ain't Robert. Oh, wrong interview.
Robert. Roberta. Now.
So when he walked in, she's like, when he walked in, what was your first impression when he stepped to the counter?
Maybe she got scared because he had the scully on top of his. He had the scully over his afro. I don't know. Something scared him.
He's not used to that in ATL. They don't rock it like that in ATL.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
They've had snow recently. I'm sure.
But maybe they don't lock their scullies like. Maybe they don't lock their scullies like that. Every state. Every state has their own style, their own swag. So that may not be what they do.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, ATL
Let's just
PD.
say this for all
Metro
of the
PD?
all of the other Black men going into the bank. I pray that this isn't a situation that they encounter.
I pray so too. Metro Police PD, thank you for not acting a fool.
Mm-hmm.
Those are police officers who wore body cam that actually did the right thing on body cam.
So kudos to them.
Kudos to Atlanta Metro PD.
They did a great job.
PD everywhere can learn a thing or two from these people. Thank you. Y'all all are beautiful, Black, brown, beautiful sisters. Y'all are just beautiful.
Same to you, boo.
I don't have no money.
So are you.
Again, to Traci Braxton's family and the whole Braxton crew and her kids, her husband, may she rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Rest in heaven, Traci.
Yes.
Last call in heaven. That was her song.
I know, that was my song.
I have it. Last call in heaven. All right. 2 fire. Good night. There are chapters in almost every state. Do not suffer in silence. Reach out to someone now.